Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining us on what is here finally a sunny morning, but we're happy to have you kicking off our third week of the Be Relentless webinars. And this morning we are introducing you or reminding you all about some of the Century 21 tools we have in order to support some of the things that our speakers so far have talked about. We've had so much great advice from people, and we thought that this would be a good opportunity to look at some of the things that they had to say, some of the advice they gave, and then help you put some of those plans into action. So we called on our trusty expert on the Century 21 systems. Chloe Ernst is here with us this morning. Chloe, good morning to you, or good afternoon back east. Thank you for being here. Let me turn it over to you, and you can showcase all the things that we've been working on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lee. Yes. So the C21 Resource Center is essentially the Century 21 library. It's all about having the tools, the information, and the templates at your fingertips so that you can go on and use that information in your day-to-day business. The whole intent of our resource center is to provide the information as easily as possible in as few clicks as possible so that you can spend most of the time doing your business, and the resource center is just supporting you in that. Each month we see thousands of C21ers head into the resource center library to look for partner discount information. They're looking for social media posts. They're looking for training resources. But like Lee said, there is so much there, and we just wanted to highlight some of the resources that might be able to help you as your business is this week, to help you today, and implementing those tips that we've been hearing from some of the awesome speakers that we've had this week. On the screen, you're going to see some recorded demos today. I just did that so that it was a bit easier to navigate through the presentation. We can certainly switch over to any live demos if anybody wants to see anything in particular. And also on the line, I have my colleague, Mary McSweeney, who's going to talk a little bit about some of our partner discounts that we have available to Century 21 Network members. So really today is just about shortcuts, tips for implementing great advice. So let's dive right in. So the Resource Center is available at resources.c21.ca. And if anybody has logged in before, which actually there's thousands that have logged in before, it is all available through Google Single Sign-On. The benefit there is there's no new passwords. You're just using your @century21.ca Gmail account password to log in. Some of our other tools like Production Tracker, Back@You Media, Core 21 also use Google Single Sign-On to just sort of aggregate that password management into one account. We're going to see a bit later in the presentation how Google is really integrated with the site. The Google Drive materials are the backbone of the site, and the Resource Center is the sort of the pretty face, the way to help find those things that are in the Google Drive. Because really the philosophy here is there's so much there, and why would you start from scratch if it already exists? So we want to show you what's already there that you can then take and run with. Aside from the sort of main navigation of the site, which is, your menus, there is a search in the Resource Center. This is just a simple keyword search. So type in the terms that you're looking for, and it'll pull up a series of results for you. Things, if you're looking for Canada Post partner discounts, how to get discounts through Canada Post, you'll find that just by typing in Canada Post. Buyers presentations, listing presentations, just type away listing presentation. Social media, in our social media content library, if you're looking for social media content to share, again, just type in social media and that'll get you right to that spot in the Resource Center. So don't be shy to use that search. It's always going to be in your top left hand there on desktop. So all right, let's dig into some of the advice that we've heard this week. Almost 2 weeks ago now. Wow, I can't believe this. It's been 2 weeks of Be Relentless webinars, but we heard from the C21 Director of Broker and Agent Development here, Tracy Anderson, and she introduced some of the new materials that were related to COVID-19 that had been released at that time. So some of the advice that Tracy gave in a really great perspective that's really turned out to be quite true to what's been going on is that things have changed a lot very quickly. And this is what Tracy called a paradigm shift in the industry. What Tracy introduced during her webinar were some of the virtual open house tools, things like tips for doing a Facebook Live, tips for how to do a virtual open house. And Tracy had introduced some of these things that were initially in Google Drive and the Resource Center. We've now gathered those into one location along with a few other resources under a COVID-19 section for sales representatives, because really there's so much happening so quickly. And we're producing new materials almost on a daily basis. And this is where we're putting these materials. So you'll find that all the COVID-19 related materials in one place on Google Drive. Some of the recent pieces that have been added here, there's some tips for how to use Google Meet, which is a great tool we'll come to in just a bit. Some online presentation tips. There's some communication tools for how to start conversations with clients. There's webinars, there's these Be Relentless webinars. So we're packing that page with links and information and resources to help you during this time. One thing that we're seeing a bit in the screen share here is how the page is integrated with Google Drive. This will come up a number of times during the presentation, but the idea is that when you go to a page, you can click into a link that'll take you to the corresponding resources in Google Drive. The things that live in Google Drive, they can be PDFs, they can be presentations, they can be a whole series of different types of files. But here, this virtual open house tools, when we click the link to the C21 open house kit, the idea is that takes you over to Google Drive so you can then access those things and get going. Again, so the central concept is that the Resource Center is a public, pretty looking face of what's hidden in Google Drive, and is all about trying to help you find what you need as fast as possible. At the very end of this presentation, I'm going to have a tip for you of the easiest way to manage your Google Drive. It's going to be like the Marie Kondo of Google Drive, and it just takes about 5 seconds to set up. So stick with me to the end, and I'll give you how to Marie Kondo your Google Drive into the something that's perfectly organized, and then you'll stay perfectly up to date from here forward. Another tip that we heard was from Shannon Smith with Kathleen Black Coaching and Consulting. Now, Shannon really talked about communicating with leads. She covered about sort of balancing being sensitive and aware of how you're interacting with people, but also the idea of being prepared and being business ready. So we've got some great tips of how you can get going on that business ready portion, and some materials that you can create now so that when things do start getting back to normal, that you're ready and you've got lots to go ahead with. One quote from Shannon was, what's your value proposition? And in terms of using presentations and presenting things and providing value to clients, we've got a whole section of tools in the Resource Center that are dedicated to presenting your value to clients. This section is called Client Presentations, and in this section we've got a series of presentations, handouts, guides, checklists, all kinds of materials for working with buyers and sellers. We have recently done some reorganization in this section to pull a bit more of the information in from the Campus 21 section. So you're going to find even more there than you even did last week in that section. With the idea here, especially in the presentation section, is you don't need to start from scratch. It's completely a great idea to take a shortcut here. You're going to look great. You're going to look polished. If you jump into some of the things like listing presentations, buyers presentations, you can take those, customize them to what you want, to how exactly you want to, just tweak them to your business. But you don't need to start from scratch. And there's so many tools there so that you don't need to begin from step 1. You can jump in at step 21, let's call it. So some of the things that are in this section, there's home buying and home selling guides. There's pre-listing, listing, buyer presentations. And there are a number of handouts that you can use to present things like Zillow, which is one of our partnerships we have here at Century 21. So to touch a bit more on partners, I'm going to bring Mary on the call. So the listing presentation has a bit of information about the discounts that are available to your clients. It's one of the easiest ways, using the listing presentation is one of the easiest ways to start to introduce what those discounts are. I'm gonna just ask Mary to pop on the line to just talk a little bit more about our partners.
Great. So we have a whole section in the Resource Center dedicated to the Century 21 partners. There's actually a filter at the top of the page that makes it easy for you to scroll through companies that offer services for running your business, that offer graphic assets, and that provide discounts to you and your clients. So for example, Canadian furniture company EQ3, they offer a 20% discount off purchases, as well as free local delivery for Century 21 members and your clients. So that discount is available online using the code CENT20. We also have a discount with 1-800-GOT-JUNK. So that's $50 off the total cost of junk removal. And that's also available online using the code MyRealtor50. Now, both of these and many others, other companies such as Dulux Paints and others, also offer client cards that can be ordered for you to give to your clients. And these cards are valid through to the end of the year, so they can be ordered now and used at a later time. And all the information for ordering these is all found in the partner section of the Resource Center.
Excellent. Yeah, there's so many. I know I've used deluxe discounts myself. I've certainly looked at the EQ3 discount. So there's a whole series that are accessible to clients, accessible to network members, and they're just in this section to explore. Thanks, Mary. We also heard in the last couple of weeks from Mr. Chris Leader, who's a great Century 21 training partner. Chris gave extremely wide-ranging advice. I think he had salad recipes, he had schedules, he had social media tips, he had all kinds of great content packed into his presentations. And I think one of the the easiest to implement pieces of Chris Leader's presentation, if you don't have the recipe, all the ingredients for his salad, that is he suggested that people really reach out and connect with people during this time. I think it's a theme we've heard from all of our speakers in the past 2 weeks, but Chris gave some very actionable tips, very specific tips for how to reach out and connect with people. So Chris had suggested heading to your CRM and doing 5 things 5 times every day. The 5 things that he gave us to do were send 5 emails, send 5 text messages, send 5 handwritten notes, send 5 social media posts, and send, he used a program called Slide Dials, which is sending a voicemail to somebody, and he suggested doing 5 of those every day. We know a lot of people are already engaging people in so many ways, but we wanted to just highlight 2 of these options to where you have a few more resources to help you get this done. The first one is social media posts. Now, there's lots of great ways to engage online with different people in different ways. And just to introduce you, if you haven't already been there, to the social media and content library that's within the C21 Resource Center. The last time we counted, I think there were over 300 bricks, and I'm sure we've added probably about 200 more since then. So there are hundreds of bricks here that you can take, customize, and post to your social media. There's everything from Facebook cover images that you can use. You can post about market information. You can post social media bricks for special occasions. You can post quotes. There's all kinds of things that you can jump in and use to help get those 5 social media posts done every day rather. The next suggestion we have for hitting those 5 from Chris are about handwritten notes.
Yeah, so for handwritten notes, our national print partner, UPS, actually has C21 custom designs which can be ordered for delivery. Now, in addition to supporting printing in our marketing center, the UPS store also built a custom Century 21 portal, which is a special ordering portal for Century 21 Canada members. So that's c21.ca/portal. So in this portal, you can get everything from yard signs to business cards, feature sheets, postcards, and these greeting cards, which were created in-house by the Century 21 marketing team. So everything in that portal is brand approved, compliant, and great pricing as well. At the moment, they also have an extra 10% discount running. So Chloe, if you just want to, yeah. So it's 10%, it's spring 2020 UPS, and it's valid through to May 18th, and that's exclusive to Century 21 Canada.
Awesome. I know I'm a fan of those little cards with the tulips in the vase. I think those are so cute. I feel like I would cheer up a lot of people if I sent them some of those cards. So those are in the UPS portal, right, Mary?
Yeah, everything is, yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful. Another tip from another speaker about communicating during these times, it was Alicia Baruti who joined us from BombBomb, and she talked about video and how great it is to see people's faces, and video is really one of the only, when we're all in isolation and staying at home, video is really one of the only ways to really get that face-to-face contact with people. So Alicia told us to build your video library because now we have time. It's time to use the tools that we have to start really digging in and building that video library. She talked about some examples of the types of videos that you can, some evergreen videos you can use again and again, videos that, so she talked about home purchase anniversary, congratulating people on various life events, birthday greetings, appointment confirmations. These are videos that you can have in your back pocket so that when business starts getting back to normal, you're drawing on resources that you've created during a bit of this shift that we're in at the moment. BombBomb is a Century 21 enterprise partner. So that means we have a kind of a special and extra relationship with them. One of the great pieces of that is that when you sign up for BombBomb, you have Century 21 templates that you can use. And we've got a couple here that are available online. We've got the Life at Home and the Home Purchase Anniversary. So there's some branded BombBomb templates that if you do sign up for a BombBomb account, you can access those in your account. There are a couple of video tips that we'd also like to highlight for realtors that through a variety of platforms that you have. Google has been making some big, exciting changes to their video options recently. Google Hangouts is the option that's available on free BombBomb accounts. There's video chat on there, but it's not the same level of professional functionality that you have through Google Meet. Now, all Century 21ers have Google Meet, which is a value-added product, and it's available for free through your @century21.ca Gmail account. I think it's a great tool. It's a video conferencing tool. It allows screen shares. It allows recording. There's even a live stream feature, I think for up to 100,000 people that you can do, if it's just pretty bold undertaking. But it's a great tool for connecting with people and groups of people face to face. I know I used it on the weekend so that I could host a little anniversary party for my parents who are in Nova Scotia, and with my brother who's in California, and some friends who are kind of all over the world. So it's a great way to bring people together. And when my dad did a wrap for my mom for his anniversary, I was able to record it. So it's a great tool in that way. Another place to build a video library, of course, is on YouTube. And I know there's a lot of folks are turning to YouTube for all kinds of things these days, you know, from probably fixing their plumbing to how to sew face masks. It's all on YouTube. But we have a couple of C21ers that we just wanted to give a quick shout out to, who are doing a great job with their YouTube channels. One is Sean Bell at Century 21 Drive. Now, he has a channel that's really focused on realtor tips, and we love seeing all of Sean's videos as he makes them and shares them, and they look fantastic. And then another C21er who's doing a great job with their YouTube channel is Mike Sealer of Century 21 in Studio Realty. And he is extremely creative and very funny with the videos that he creates for consumers. So great job both to Sean and Mike there on your YouTube channels. And we're definitely following along as you create more and more during the downtime here. Okay, moving along, we have Jared James, who was giving us some great motivational tips last weekend, or not last weekend, sorry, last Monday. He gave us lots of actionable tips, and for these, we saw some folks taking on the suggestions and running with them right away. So we've got another C21 shout out here. And it's for the wonderful folks. I'm not quite there on my slides yet. So Jared's advice was to be visible leaders in our marketplaces. So again, we had some C21ers really run with that idea of being very visible. And our shout out goes to, for this one, is Century 21 Colonial Realty, who created a Charlottetown Diners Guide on their website, their c21.ca website. This is just a fantastic example of creating local, timely content and being a leader in their marketplace. I think we just think it's a fantastic way of showing people that you care, showing people that you're connected to the places you live. So great job, Graham and Joel at Colonial Realty. All right. Moving along here, we've got Chris Leader. Again, another piece of Chris's presentation was talking, kind of recognizing that we're all maybe doing a fair bit of binge watching at the moment, and maybe asking us to take a moment to reflect on the things that we're choosing to watch. So Chris suggested we step away from the Netflix and look at things like TED Talks or some more educational content for what we're watching, because we do have a lot of time in front of our screens now. So we have this, a quote here from Chris that says, you can afford the time to teach yourself technology. And he really emphasized that, now is the time that we can we have a bit more leeway to learn those new skills. And in terms of technology and all kinds of training, if we head back to the Resource Center, we've got a whole section called the C21 Training Library. Now it's binge watch ready. There's a series of YouTube playlists in this training library that you can sit down and autoplay on various topics. So there's website content development. There's some success tips from our Director of Broker and Agent Development, Tracy Anderson. We've got some information, a whole playlist about Google Drive, Google Email, all the Google products that we have at Century 21 Canada. So this is the place to head if you want to do a bit of on-topic C21 binge watching. You head to the C21 Training Library, and that's part of our Campus 21. So to get there, you can go to Campus 21, or you can simply type in C21 Training Library in that search, and it'll take you right to that page. Okay, so before we go just to the Q&A portion, we're going to just backtrack just a little bit to the Google basics. So as I said at the beginning, the backbone of the Resource Center is all about how it's presenting Google Drive. And I've got a few tips and suggestions for how you're going to just be able to get a little bit more out of the C21 resources in Google Drive and just make them a little easier to find and easier to use. So again, we've got a site that's integrated with Google Drive. What this means is that all the templates, the PDF documents, all the graphics, they're not stored in the Resource Center. They're stored kind of behind the scenes in Google Drive. And then when you get into that Google Drive area, you can then create a copy or download those pieces. But again, it's just the Resource Center is a window into what's in Google Drive. For some folks, some of the things that we have seen with this integration where it's fantastic in some ways, but there's always some things where there's just a few things to learn. If folks do have multiple Google accounts, Google tries to be very smart and default to your favorite Google account or the first Google account you've ever logged into on a device. So what we do see is that sometimes the accounts don't fully jive. So sometimes some folks, when they try to access things, they'll hit this button that says, do you want to request access or switch accounts? So the recommendation here is that don't hit that request access button, because we don't grant access to accounts outside the century21.ca network. But what you can do is hit the switching accounts button, and that will bring up a Google screen where you can switch into your century21.ca Google account. Another tip that we have is that when you land on that listing presentation and you scroll through those slides and you think, yeah, this is what I want, let's get started with customizing this. It's important to realize that C21ers, you're all seeing the same listing presentation uploaded into Google Drive. The reason for that is that you all have access to the same information at the same time in the same way, but you can't edit that master document. So you have to take one of two steps in order to edit that master document. So to make edits to something like the listing presentation, you're going to hit File and you're going to make a copy. What that'll do is trigger a process of saving it to your very own drive. Then you can change text, you can change images, you can change logos, you can change the order of the slides. You can do whatever you like, because that's now yours in your drive. The other way that you can sort of interact with these files is you can download them. So if you select download as, you can download things as JPEGs, as PowerPoint documents, as PDFs, a whole series of options, because Google is increasingly working better and better with the Microsoft suite of tools we've found. So if there's one thing that I could have a magic wand and get every Century 21er to do, and this is the Marie Kondoing of your Google Drive, it's adding this top level Century 21 Network Resources folder to your My Drive folder. And I'm just going to take you through how it works. It takes about 5 to 10 seconds to do, but the benefit is that you'll have all the resources as they're updated, and they'll be searchable and in Google Drive. So that's the benefit of taking about 10 seconds to go through this process. So the first thing is we've created a bit of a vanity URL just to make this process a bit easier, and it's go to c21.ca/network resources. It's going to redirect you to a Google sign-in page. Enter your @Century21 Gmail account and your password, and then it will take you into the top level folder called C21 Network Resources in this typical Google Drive interface. So here we are. You can see though that it's shared in a thing called Shared with Me. Now what you want to do is click that drop-down menu, click Add to My Drive, and it's going to make a world of difference in how your drive looks and feels and operates. Because now when we go to your top level My Drive, there you have C21 Network Resources with everything in it, organized as it is in the Resource Center. There's no reorganizing files. You just plop that top level folder in there, and it's going to add the whole thing to your drive, so that when you go to your search field, you can then search for things like listing presentation, or it just gives you more options in how to find things. Because again, the whole point of the Resource Center is to help you find the things that you're looking for. And this is my #1 tip for helping you get those resources as quickly as possible, as painlessly as possible, so that you can move on to your next steps of working with clients, doing online presentations, whatever it is, doing social media posts, whatever it is you need to do. The whole idea is to get you the resources so that you can move on to those next steps in your day-to-day business. So that's the last that we've got there on the tips of the Resource Center. I'm happy to do any screen shares from here, Lee and team, or if we have questions or comments, happy to field them.
Thank you, Chloe. I've been doing this as you were speaking. I was like, I need to do this too. But when maybe somebody else is having this problem, so I'm asking the question. When I go into that, I don't get the option Add to My Drive. When I do the network resources, I get Open With, Share, Shareable Link, Move to, Add to, Change Color. I don't have an option Add to My Drive.
Did you already add it to your drive? Because I think we did a push for this when we launched the Resource Center. We went out the gate with the Marie Kondo concept.
Right.
But So if you hop
Okay.
into your My Drive, do you see network resources there?
Oh, I do.
Excellent. Yeah, so you're just ahead of the game.
All done. Great. Okay, so if someone else isn't finding that, it's because you've already done it.
Which is a beautiful,
We have a
beautiful
question from
situation.
Carol. Can you share shortcut screenshots?
Do
Do you know what that means? Because I'm not sure I do.
I don't know. I don't either. But we can stay on the line and see if she wants to help clarify for us.
Okay, Carol, if you can provide us with a little bit more detail about what you are looking for here, we can do our best. Can you redo this again? Could you show everyone the network drive thing one more time?
Of course, of course can. I'm just gonna use my trusty slides here. Okay. All right, so it's going to the C21, and I'm gonna just pause it to kind of create a bit more time for us here. So yeah, so you're going to c21.ca/network resources. And I spelt it wrong the first time, so make sure you, and that will automatically, if you're getting a 404 page or another page here, then check your spelling. The next page you'll see is where you want to enter your @century21.ca Gmail account. So that's mine. I'm not going to say it online, but most people, it's your first dot last name @century21.ca. We know some folks have other accounts that they use through offices, so it's got to be ending in @century21.ca. Okay, so you're entering that, followed by your Gmail password. If anybody doesn't know their Gmail password, your office is able to do a reset on that. So do check in with your office if you do need a Gmail password reset. So once you've successfully logged in through your email address and your password, I highly recommend a password keeper at times like this, because why type it when you can just use a password keeper? So once you're logged in, it'll take you to this page, and this is the top level folder. And I'm a really big believer in top level folders, because then we can just put things into that folder, and as long as you have the parent master folder, anything that gets added in is going to just automatically update, and you don't need to think about organizing things. It just magically happens. And why do work if you don't need to? So when you're at this page on the top level folder, you've got a little drop down menu, and this is where you click that drop down menu. And these are the options that you should have here. So there's a shareable link option. There's add to my drive. You can add it to your starred, change the color if you're feeling fancy. And the one that you want here is add to my drive. And it's really about a half a second that Google takes to just reorganize that. And rather than being in Share with Me, it's now just going to be in your Google Drive here. One more thing about this page is not everybody's page looks like, this is a personal preference thing, but I really love this, this layout with the stacked folders, because I find it's most like a sort of a, your typical computer drive. Up in the top right here, there's a little tiled grid view type thing. And it just creates kind of a tile of resources. I'm just personally not a fan of that view. So I quite like this stacked, nice, orderly, my Marie Kondo view. This is what I call it. And then from there, this is just navigating through the files that have now been automatically made available in your drive, simply because you added that top level folder.
Okay, I've got more questions for you, Chloe.
Of course.
Where did you say to go get the Google video you referenced for your parents' anniversary? I'm guessing you're not sharing that video.
I'm probably not. My poor dad, he thinks he can rap, and it's so cute. But I'll ask him if I can share it, but probably not at this time.
Fair enough. Mark Bolin asks, if I have a document I want to send out, can I email it from the drive? Great question.
I don't know if there's an email from Drive function.
Would you recommend downloading it and sending it as an attachment?
So actually, you know what? There are a couple of options. Let's see here. So there is, if you're using, it depends, I guess, what email program you're using, but there is an option to embed a Google Drive document. All of our Century 21 offices and or companies rather have their own Google Drive folder that's kind of like a company storage. Everything in that company storage folder is shared within everybody within that company. So that's a great place to locate documents that you want to share just within your company. And I'm just going to share my email, but in a way that's not too embarrassing. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to just share my email. Bear with me. Here we go. All right, so, okay. Bear with me here. Okay, so you should be seeing what's a Gmail email screen. Is that correct? But Lee, is that?
Yes, correct. I see the Gmail background.
Perfect. So say I wanted to email Lee a document that's in Google Drive. There's a number of features in the Google email. This is insert files using Drive. So what I like about this is because the Gmail is synced up with your Google Drive, I can actually email a whole series of things and embed them right into an email, and it then is linked up to Google Drive. So for example, here's one that's not, this is a video of us going to Victoria last year, and see, it embeds right in the email just by clicking this little link down here, which is insert files using Google Drive. And I've used
Excellent.
that a fair bit, so I'll just leave that up for a second.
Good advice. We have another question. Where do I locate YouTube or other video C21 background templates? So I'm trying to figure out exactly what she means. Does she mean YouTube? Does she mean website hero images? Does she mean like the Zoom background behind me? Is there something you can recommend or somewhere you can show us where these are? Because they're not all the same. We've kind of created them in different bursts.
I would say my guess would be here the similar Zoom background to what you're seeing there, and we have those under our the COVID-19 materials. So let's just do a screen share here. I'm just going to open up the Resource Center. There she be. Excellent. All right, you should be seeing the Resource Center. We have reorganized this client presentations folder because there's quite a lot of new materials for helping work with clients at this time. So you can either take the very, very shortcut, which is just click here, or you can head to client presentations and click learn more, or you can search COVID, and that'll bring you to this page. So all those three options take you to this one page. And again, we like to try and keep things in one location so that we're not scattering things across the universe, because nobody would have any hope of finding them. So we have the, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so we have virtual meetings section here. And this is the Zoom virtual backgrounds that we have. If you're not seeing this section, there's probably a click to authorize button that is just a little extra step to go through. But if you'd rather not click that button for whatever reason, you can just click the COVID materials for sales reps. It'll take you, are you still seeing the top into Google Drive? Excellent. And virtual meetings is where we have those materials. Now, another option is if you've added that top level folder in that last step that we just went through, you can actually just type in Zoom, and you've got Zoom virtual backgrounds that you can hop into through that search. Oh, did it go? There we go. Oh, it's not behaving for me. Okay. Oh, my screen's, come on, little one. Okay. It's not behaving. However, these are where they are in the Resource Center under this COVID materials page.
Okay, we've got another question from Constantine. Adding the folder to our drive, does it take away available storage from our account limits? I'm guessing that was the ad network.
Correct, and it does not. It only takes storage when you create your own local copies. So if you take that listing presentation, make a copy, and then start making edits. But if you add that top level folder, no space is taken. We house all that for everyone so that everyone can access that without chipping into their Google Drive allocation.
Great. Rosie asks, what's the latest docs in the resource folder? I only have 7 folders. The last one was modified in August 2019. That last modified date always messes me up too.
Interesting. Okay, let's see here. I believe this little tab has decided not to work for me. Let's see here. I'm just gonna follow along so I understand. I believe that it's just the top level folders that's kind of causing a bit of problem. So my guess is, okay, so this is what I think that you folks are seeing. These are just the different sections of the resource center, but as you dive in, there's more folders and more contents to each of these. So these are just the 7 file folders. So as you dive deeper, I can't give any insight, unfortunately, into why those last modified dates don't update. I believe it's likely just because of the changes to the top level folder, and it's not really reflecting the contents of the folder. So unfortunately, I think it's just the way that Google presents information.
So not to worry, she should have 7 folders, and the fact that it's updated August 2019 doesn't mean the content hasn't been updated. It's just something to do with when the folder was created.
It was when it was created, yeah.
Great, good information. From the sales rep group, is there any video templates for emails?
So there are video templates for BombBomb, but there are not video templates for Gmail.
Great, that answers the question. That does wrap up all of our questions, Chloe. Thank you very much for information. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like, I've been wondering how to do this.
No,
so I know
now that I was just thinking through that email, the one piece that we do have is an email signature that is, it's not really an email template, but it is an option for something to kind of prettify and help with your email signatures. And that's under I believe it's under our social media and content library. It is, oh good. The thing with live demos, you go, I think it's where I think it is. So yes, here it is at the very top of the social media and content library, because it is a highly requested item, that email signature agent in Office. And again, when you click those lovely Google links, it should hop you over into the Google Drive where you can then, make your, oh, right. So you're going to, from here, this is where you're going to either copy and paste, or you're going to go to make a copy in order to make those edits and make your own. And we do suggest, especially for this one, you definitely want to make a copy, make your edits in Google Drive, and then you can go and kind of access it and tweak it and update it in the future there.
Great. Thank you.
Of course.
Good advice as always. We appreciate it. I'm sure people, you know what, this is part of the training they're doing while things are slow, learning how to use this stuff. So really useful information. Thank you so much, Chloe.
Of course, you're welcome.
And thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Tomorrow we are joined by David Black from the Canadian Franchise Association. He is a government relations director, and he is following all the developments with the programs that the federal government is offering very, very closely. He's going to update us. He's got some slides, province by province, what you need to know, how you need to apply for different programs. and he will be joining us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then on Wednesday, we will be joined by Doug Thompson to talk about listing presentations. And on Thursday, David Greenspan will be here to talk about maintaining mind share during a crisis. So 3 more days of webinars ahead. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Jocelyn.